Nigeria is the richest country in Africa. There is no doubt about that. But did you know Nigeria is often referred to as the poverty capital of the world? Why is that? This is because, out of every 10 people living in poverty in the world, there are 9 Nigerians among them. Yes, surprising, isn't it? Nigeria, despite being the richest country in Africa, has the poorest people in the world. How is that possible? In this video, we are going to be seeing why Nigeria is so rich and at the same time has the poorest people in the world. Nigeria is an oil-rich country. When we say rich, we mean billions of dollars rich. Not just a small oil-producing country where oil contributes to a small part of its GDP. Nigeria is the 6th largest exporter of petroleum in the world. Nigeria is a wealthy nation majorly because of its oil, but over 100 million people in the country live in poverty. The major reason for this inequality is because wealth is so concentrated among the rich, so much so that the top 5 richest people in Nigeria have enough money, power, and resources that can actually end the poverty in Africa's most populous nation. So why is Nigeria, Africa's richest country, still poor despite having these elite rich individuals? There are several reasons why. One of the reasons is that the country's government and some economic elites have shown little to no efforts at all when it comes to investing and developing in areas that could help eradicate poverty. Health and education spending makes up only 3% and 5% of the national budget respectively, despite all the money generated from the oil revenues. Neglect in investing in education has been going on for years. This has pushed the illiteracy rate to go up as high as 66%. A recent report by UNICEF suggests that over 10 million children are out of school in the country despite being in the school-age window. The public healthcare system in Nigeria is very disastrous and is unable to cover the entire population of Nigeria. Infant and maternal mortality in Nigeria are alarmingly high as women and children die every day because of the lack of basic healthcare. The labor laws in Nigeria can be described as highly ineffective. This is because the country's minimum wage is extremely low, and there is a significant gender wage gap. Nigeria was also ranked as one of the worst in the Oxfam BFI Global Gender Gap Report. An average Nigerian woman will earn $3,000 less than her male counterparts. A report by Ventures Africa states that Nigeria's tax system benefits only the rich, at the same time crushing the middle and lower class individuals. Everything in Nigeria is taxed. For example, taxes on the use of commodities like TV and radios hurt not only middle-class individuals but highly affect small businesses which struggle to break even. On the other hand, big businesses and rich individuals benefit from tax waivers. Back in 2013, a report by Newsweek found out that $2.5 billion were given out in tax breaks for the rich between 2011 and 2013. This is money that, if injected into the health and education sector, will bring about a lot of difference. All these factors intensify as you move up the northern part of the country, where the poverty rate ranges from 76% to 86%. Why is Nigeria poor? Lack of access to proper education, poor healthcare, and economic inequality have all contributed to this. How can the problem of economic inequality be solved? For the economic inequality to be eradicated, the Nigerian government needs to step up to improve on health, education, and economic conditions by regulating taxes and supporting small businesses with incentives or small tax breaks every now and then. The people of Nigeria are so poor, and the government can do something about it to improve the lives of its citizens. Sadly, nothing is being done, and there is even no effort in attempting to do something about it. Despite all this, the country still gets richer and richer thanks to the exploitation of its never-ending oil. Sadly though, despite being the biggest economy in Africa, Nigeria ranks around 160 out of 177 countries on the scale of the Human Development Index. Poverty in Nigeria is mainly a rural issue, and experts advise that access to banking and microcredit services are crucial as they can help local farmers invest in agriculture. They can use these loans to get high-yielding seeds, machines, and vehicles to increase productivity and output. Since the government cannot employ everybody, there is only one way out: which is entrepreneurship. The government should highly encourage and support young entrepreneurs and small startups and businesses. Entrepreneurship is key to reducing Nigeria's poverty. Nigeria is a large country with a population of more than 180 million people, making it the most populous country in Africa. Unlike East African countries, in the West, many regions such as Nigeria benefit from a tropical climate with lush vegetation and a diverse range of crops that grow all year round. Just this is enough to highlight how important agriculture is in reducing poverty. So investing in agriculture or agricultural startups is one step the government can take in eradicating poverty in the country. Nigeria should be one of the biggest exporters of agricultural products to other countries, and Nigerian citizens should reap from the profits of this trade. In general, whenever Nigeria experiences a period of economic growth, it is as a result of making improvements in agriculture. Agriculture provides jobs, food, and raw materials for other sectors. No matter how much or how big the service sector strives, agriculture still remains the most important aspect in the country's economy. It has been noticed that people with larger farmlands, people with access to loans to invest in agriculture, as well as people whose farms were closer to the markets, all showed lower poverty rates than the rest. Integrating thousands of households into local markets and teaching more advanced agricultural techniques are also essential aspects to reducing poverty in Nigeria. In many ways, this implies more government intervention, at least to invest in the basic infrastructure such as roads and cheap public transportation, so that people are given the opportunity to go to town and sell their crops. Nigeria is another good example of how poverty and macroeconomic shocks are related. It has been just as relevant to the recent global economic crisis as it was to previous crises in the 1980s. Back then, it led to a massive surge in poverty from 20% to 40%, with unemployment, inflation, debt, and a fiscal deficit. Despite the oil money that started flowing in, where did that money go? Nigeria is part of that group of African countries that has no real reason to account for its perpetually high poverty rates. No other reason than corruption or incompetence, perhaps. After many attempts to stabilize the economy, macroeconomic reforms in the 1980s finally worked well. Surprisingly, the positive effects of the economy did not trickle down to the rest of the population. The same has happened in many countries, and on the contrary, poverty increased instead. I said before, poverty in Nigeria is mostly rural. Macroeconomic shocks tend to affect rural areas much more than cities. Poverty, for example, is expected to decline by more than 40% in cities, but it is to increase by over 7% in rural areas. Click video showing on your screen to see the 10 richest states in Nigeria. If you enjoyed watching this video, please leave a like and also a comment down below. If you aren't subscribed to our channel, then we would appreciate it if you would hit the subscribe button as well and turn on the notification bell so you can be regularly updated on our future content. Thanks for watching, and see you in another edition.